Hi, welcome to the Ship Hector Restoration Project series. My name is Wes Surratt. I'll be your host. We're happy to have you here. This project began in June of 2020 when we lifted the Ship Hector replica out of the water and began the full refit. The current Ship Hector is a 30-year-old replica of the original Hector, a Dutch cargo ship built in the Netherlands that brought Scottish emigrants to Pictou in 1773. During this project, you're going to see us merge traditional wooden shipbuilding techniques with modern materials and methods to rebuild the Hector into a ship that has the look and the feel of an 18th century vessel, but the strength and the durability of 21st century technology.
The big lift happened on June 5th, 2020. It hadn't been out of the water, I'm thinking probably 6 or 8 years, and we knew that, the boat under the water was in pretty good shape, but the top side, were rotting, and there was a fair amount of issues with the boat, and there were starting to be some leaks under the water because the maintenance hadn't been done because it had not been out of the water. The best site to have it was at the site because of the attraction, and there was so much enthusiasm when the boat was being built and people coming here from all over the place to help work on it, but to see it, and it's like, we have to put it back here. Probably took a good couple of months at least planning that day, just from the first consultation with Lille or the crane people, and then what we had to do to ensure that their equipment was going to be safe on the site. We had to get an engineering firm out of Dartmouth in to dig test holes on the site to make sure the site was stable enough to hold the crane, because that crane with all the weights and stuff like that was going to be approximately 400 tons. They had to bring in extra weight actually from another crane company in Montreal, just in case, because you couldn't miss it by 100 pounds, the weight. So it ended up that they had to take, and you could see it in the video, they were moving weight off of the counterweight or the super tray because they brought too much in, but they had to bring that in just to be sure. With the estimates, were as high as 250 ton for the ship, but actually it was more like 188 ton or 168 long ton. But a long ton is 2,240 pounds versus a regular ton of 2,000 pounds.
After the big lift in June of 2020, the refit began. A lot of hard work began, and that led us into the 250th anniversary of the landing of the Ship Hector here in Pictou in September of 2023.
We wanted to really celebrate the entire historical content of what the 250 was all about. Probably the most exciting thing that happened for us was when the Governor General decided that she would come to be part of our event. And once she was involved, then we had the Governor General, then we had the Lieutenant Governor, then we had the Premier. So we had all kinds of great political support for our event. We started with our opening ceremonies on the Friday, the September 15th, which was the day that the Hector actually landed in Pictou in 1773. So after the opening ceremonies concluded, it was the first opportunity for the general public to actually step on board the Hector. It was the first time in 2 years that we had public access to the ship. They got a good taste of what the renovations and restorations that had taken part up until that date. We had an extra visitor that we weren't expecting that weekend in the case of Hurricane Lee, who sort of tried to rearrange our schedule for us without our consent. But we had a wonderful Saturday event with the Gaelic language and culture event, and that was a full, we had no idea anybody would show up because that was the day when the storm was supposed to hit. We had a full group of people show up and learn Gaelic song and Gaelic language, and it was great. So we ended up doing a closing concert at a church here in town, and that went well because a lot of the performers that weren't able to make it on Saturday came with us on Sunday. We had the Bear McNeils as our closing act, and we had 3 or 4 pipe bands, and everything worked out really well.
Thank you for joining us for the Ship Hector restoration update. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. And if you're able to, we appreciate any support. So if you're able to contribute, please see the link in the comments below. And we look forward to seeing you in Pictou, Nova Scotia for a sail aboard the Ship Hector.